receiver with 60. His leading receivers for Carson Wentz combined for 12 catches for 108 yards. But they were.
I'm gonna have you pump. I'm gonna have you pump the brakes on this stuff.
They were both running backs
immediately.
They were. Nyheim Hines was number 2.
But I'm gonna have you pump the brakes on this immediately. Realize that Wentz has had a full week of practice with this team.
Right.
Yeah, their O-line was also extremely
we were talking about
was constantly under pressure.
Like, I wasn't in the podcast for weeks, obviously. Sorry, anyone who's listening.
Any none who's listening.
Yeah, but my issue here is there had to have been a time at this podcast that I wasn't here, and there had to have been talk. Well, I guess not because of what we were breaking out, but there had to have been talk with Wentz not playing until week 4, possibly, and he's starting week 1. Okay, he has no rapport with any of these wide receivers. That requires timing. Your check down is to your tight end, and if it's not to your tight end, it's to your running backs. And Indianapolis tried to come up with a game plan that worked, knowing that they have to rely on their running game. And they were hoping their defense wouldn't break to arguably one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the country. That's a hard task.
Right.
I mean, their defense was really good last year, and they were hoping that after what they did in the offseason,
I think they're still really good. I just think Seattle is better. When you have someone like Russell Wilson at the helm, it's hard to go up against them with your best.
I mean, we'll say it's a revamped offense for Seattle. It looked good. Defensively is where I was impressed by Seattle, because defensively is where they've struggled, and they were all over Indy's offensive line. And what you said about Wentz is also true for Quentin Nelson. He had the same injury. He was out for the same amount of time, not able to practice. So the O-line...
And then they were both part of the COVID protocol too, right?
Yeah. And the O-line looked like it was really shaky. I expect the O-line to improve for Indy, so I think this was a bit fluky for them. I think they'll be better, but look, obviously they need to be better. But yeah, I understand Wentz checking down a lot, because within 1 second he had like a Seattle defender in his face almost every play. It was wild.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Wentz hater, but you're right, and that's the offensive line isn't good. The Colts have this issue where they lock in on a player they like, throw so much money at them that they neglect the rest of the team. So, like,
Andrew Luck.
They did it with Peyton. They did it with Andrew Luck. They did it with Quentin Nelson, T.Y. Hilton. Like, they focus in on a couple of players. Nyheim Hines.
At least some of those players make sense. I understand throwing a bucket of money at a guy like Andrew Luck. I think after you do that, it makes a lot of sense to protect him. But whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I do what I want.
I just don't understand the Nyheim Hines. I just still don't. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. Next game, Chargers Washington football team. Ryan Fitzpatrick brought in to be the savior of as some believe, the savior of a team that's going to go 13-4 and win the NFC East. That's me taking a shot at John, formerly of the Run the Point podcast. No, Ryan Fitzpatrick goes down pretty early. Taylor Heineke has to come in and goes 11 for 15, 122 yards and a touchdown. Did not look horrible.
No, he looked very good, very efficient. Obviously, losing Fitzy is going to disrupt your game plan. And now he's going to be on, I think, IR. Was it short-term IR or was it longer-term?
I think it's 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, 6-game bare minimum is when they can get him back. So that makes me seem like it's going to suck for their season, but it's not a terrible injury.
Here's what I do if I'm the
Sorry,
you go on.
I was just gonna say, could be a small blessing in disguise in that they could see if Heineke's the future for real. This game he looked real solid. He looked pretty solid last season when he had his opportunities. So, maybe if you need a quarterback in the next draft, and maybe he can be good enough to keep you in this until Fitz is back, and maybe they have a late run second half of the season.
I would like to see Taylor Heineke do well, but if I'm the Washington football team, I'm calling 3 people. 1, I'm calling Cam Newton saying, hey, come in for a workout, we're interested in you. If they're not interested in that, I'm calling the owners of the Houston Texans, and I'm saying, what do you want for Deshaun? And if they don't want to go that route, I'm calling the Pagulas, and I'm saying, what do you want from Mitch Trubisky, and be reasonable.
Yeah, I keep forgetting Mitch is in Buffalo. I keep forgetting he's there.
Cam, losing his job to Matt Jones makes me wonder, why that happened. He definitely looked pretty bad last year. And you're also asking a guy to come in and learn the entire playbook when the season's already started. If Heineke continues to look like he did in that.
I mean, they're obviously going to ride Heineke this week, so we're going to see. He's going to get the start. He's under helm. He's got a team that's preparing for him. We're going to see the true test this time.
Yeah, so the whole thing with Cam, he made a statement in the press, and Bill Belichick didn't necessarily confirm it, but when he was asked about it, didn't say that what Cam said wasn't true. Cam said that the reason is they want to move forward with the guy they drafted in the first round, and keeping Cam on the team was an option, but they decided that him being on the team would be too much of a distraction and would deter fans from accepting and embracing Mac Jones the first time he has a bad game, which makes sense. I'm
not against the reasoning. I am against Cam Newton being a serviceable quarterback. I'm becoming, as strange as it sounds, with Brady winning the championship, I'm becoming a believer of the fact that give Bill Belichick whatever he wants, he's going to make it work.
Yep. Yeah. And obviously,
and as much as I hate him, but it's just becoming reality, and that scares me with Mac Jones being there, because the last thing I want is to see this team have any more success. You've had enough. Shut up.
Yeah, I agree. But honestly, I think if I am the Washington football team, depending on how much I can give up, if I see we're relying on a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick and his backup Taylor Heineke, if I have the pieces and I think that we are a star quarterback away from really being something, I'm offering, a couple first-round picks and a couple second-round picks for Deshaun. Because Deshaun's a really good quarterback. I think he could be a player that takes the Washington football team to the next level, gets them from being a 7-win team to a 10, 11, 12-win team. But
they've got some good pieces, but there's a huge risk there, and that's your butt, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But
I get it.
You don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to be playing or in prison. We don't know.
Yeah, the whole thing with him is that Texans want 6 pieces, either draft picks, high draft picks, or marquee players, and they're not willing to take conditional things on that if Watson goes to prison, which
is a fool's stance by their moves. You know what? I bet you they soften if Tyrod Taylor does well, which I think he would or will. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I just think he's been in bad systems.
Yeah.
Week 1, they looked fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're playing Jacksonville. That's not a real test.
Yeah, it's
that's a completely imploded team that Urban Meyer is literally trying to build out of college players.
Correct. That is correct. Remember, just like
or players that he's had, because for some reason he has Clyde, I think.
Yeah.
The running back?
Yeah, his boy. He loves
Yeah, I know he does, but, like, that's fucking stupid. When are you going to use him?
It's just...
Maybe Urban, but that's a stupid move.
Yep. Anyways, let's continue on with the Chargers-Washington football team game. Like we said, Heineke, 11-15 for 122 yards and a touchdown. Came in, looked pretty decent. Antonio Gibson, 20 carries, 90 yards, had a good game himself. Terry McLaurin, 4 catches, 62 yards. On the other side, we had the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert, 337 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. How do you throw for 330 yards and only have 1 touchdown? Like, that's so strange. Austin Eckler, 15 carries, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, 9 receptions for 100 yards. And the Chargers came away with the 20-16 win. And I think we all know that the Washington football team defense is scary. Their entire defense is very good, especially that front seven. Under no circumstance, if I'm a football player, do I want to, especially if I'm a running back or a quarterback, look at the person across from me and be like, oh shit, that's Chase Young. Let me look to the right. Oh shit, that's Daron Payne. Let me look to the right. Oh shit, that's Montez Sweat. Let me look to the right. Oh shit, that's Matt Ioannidis. And I at that point, I just walk off the field and say, fuck it, you know? I don't want to run into any of them.
Yeah, dude, it's solid.
Yeah, Chargers for all that though, they looked all right. I mean, obviously, with Fitzy going down, your job's a little bit easier. The Heineke didn't make it too easy on them. Eckler looked solid. Looked like that hamstring isn't really much of an issue after all, so that's good. Good news, especially for my poor fantasy football teams that are riddled with injuries already. Herbert was decent. 330 yards, touchdown, interception. Against that defense is pretty good. So it was a solid game. Obviously, lower scoring than some of the other ones, but it turned out better than I thought after the Fitz injury. As far as being a good game, not surprised the Chargers won after that. But yeah, it was a.
Before I forget, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was done.
All right. Before I forget, this is where I have my first player that impressed me, player, unit, team, whatever that impressed me. Rashawn Slater. All right. 47 pass blocking attempts, did not give up any pressure to Chase Young. Not once. Fucking rookie in his first game. And he's got Chase Young across from him. Chase Young does not get near the quarterback.
Yeah, how many of those were doubled, though?
Probably most. I could block somebody.
Yeah, I don't think there were many people getting blocked because, like I said, the guy next to him's got to worry about Daron Payne.
You can't block them all. That's the problem. Like, there's not... Like, they're always blocking somebody. Like, that's pretty solid performance by him.
Yep. Yeah, that's my first, tip of the cap.
You found the lineman that had an impressive stat out of nowhere.
Yep. Because I was like, man, Micah Parsons looked good, but I really wish that we had drafted a lineman. Let me look and see how the lineman did. And, Penei Sewell didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have the same game that Rashawn Slater had. And I was like, fuck. It was such a good game. Oh, my God. So I love when you see someone step in and do something crazy in their first game. And to me, stopping Chase Young from getting the quarterback is that crazy thing that he did. Overall, good game. Chargers come away, like I said, with a win, 20-16. Washington, we get to see them in action tomorrow against the Giants. We'll see how that goes. The two best defenses in the NFC East, though, the Giants and the Washington football team. I almost did it. I caught myself. I almost called them the Redskins. We're going to move on. Dan O'Shea, you're next in the firing line. Jets Panthers. Now Zach Wilson, he did look pretty decent. 250